My name is Kwabna Chenchehene Boati. Many thanks for your company. To our very first story, and several parts of the capital have been submerged in water following more than 6 hours of downpour, according to reports we are receiving. Now, the situation, we were told, is particularly dire in areas such as Abusokai, Jolo, Adenta, and other parts of the capital. We are joined on the phone lines now by my colleague, Matilda Pomega, who is currently at... Okay, we do not have Matilda Omega on the line now, so we'll try as much as possible and raise it on. Once we have it, we'll bring that story back to you. But as usual, you can try as much as possible and get through to us on our various platforms on social media, from Facebook to Twitter, as well as our WhatsApp number. Send us the videos or pictures of the situation in your area as it is. Now, the Eastern Regional Police Commander, DCOP Angobotoge Awuni, has passed on at the police hospital in Accra. DCOP Awuni, who was a former commander of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, the MTTD, died following ill health on Monday. The seasoned law enforcement officer had been with the police service from 1980 and held various positions in the service, including Director of Public Relations, District Police Commander, Divisional Police Commander, Regional Police Commander, and Commanding Officer of the Motor Traffic and Transport Union. Manasseh Azuri has been telling me more about the demise of the Eastern Regional Police Commander.
2 weeks ago, he complained about a toothache and went to the hospital in Koforidua. And when he got there, suddenly his temperature started rising. Then he was subsequently admitted for 5 days. After that, he was referred to the police hospital here in Accra. And I'm told yesterday was exactly 1 week since he was brought to the police hospital here. And a source close to him said they visited him on Saturday and had a chat with him. He was doing fine. He could move about. And so they thought things were getting better, only to hear today that he's passed on. So the police service is very hurt, and I spoke to his deputy, that's the Deputy Eastern Regional Police Commander, ACP James Abbas Abba, and he said his commanders and the police officers in the region are very devastated. This is someone who once told, they had a meeting, and I later learned that he told his senior colleagues at the headquarters that if they wanted to stop corruption in the police service, then they should stop demanding money from regional commanders and divisional commanders, because if you ask money from them, how are they going to get it? They would have to also, they cannot give you their salary. So he was that kind of person who was politically incorrect, if I should put it that way. That is his nature or disposition. Right. If his name, if you speak Frafra or Grone, the real or the right pronunciation of the name is Angbibitole, which means someone who speaks his mind frankly without any fear or favor. That's the meaning of the name. And if you look at how he conducted himself in the police service, that is basically how he lived. You can, I think, quite recently when the workers were demonstrating and he was speaking to them, he told them that, well, I'm a police officer, I cannot go and demonstrate, but what we are doing is in my interest. So we are not here to intimidate you or whatever. He is also someone who ordered the arrest of Niyama Shite, who was then former Greater Accra Regional Minister and MP for Protocoli, when he misconducted himself. And he's someone who says it as it is.
I was speaking to my colleague Manasseh Azuri earlier. Assistant Commissioner of Police James Abbas Abba describes DCOP Awuni's death as devastating.
Honest with you, we are all shocked to the core. He's doing stay with us here. He has introduced his dynamism, his frankness, his utmost honesty that he's made up of. Had an impact on all of us here, and we weren't expecting anything of this nature. So we are all shocked with all my commanders.
What do you say about his caliber in the police service?
He was an exceptional police officer. His conduct, his idea of honesty, and his idea about policing was quite different from any other person else. And he spoke his mind. He fought corruption with all his zeal, and it didn't matter whose ox was God. I want to put it bluntly to you when you were wrong. Not only his former regional minister, he did quite a lot of things which were exceptional. And I think it will only be made known, perhaps, when somebody decides to put his thoughts to the general public. Now, I'm not in the mood to do that because I'm devastated.
Now, extradition processes have begun for British fugitive and son-in-law of the governor of the Central Bank of Ghana. Right, let me try and bring back that story to you. David McDermott, who was arrested in Accra last Friday, the 42-year-old is wanted for his role in a conspiracy to import £71 million worth of cocaine into the UK in 2013. Well, we do know that there was a court hearing today. Let's get some updates from the courts now from our reporter Raymond Dakwa, who was in court earlier today and is joining me on phone now with some details. Raymond, tell us much more about what transpired in court today. Okay, so we seem to have lost Raymond on the line there, but we'll bring him back on and get the very latest on this story for you. But David McDermott is the second UK fugitive to be arrested in Ghana this year. John Benjamin, who happens to be the UK High Commissioner to Ghana, says the collaboration between Ghana and British security officials to arrest UK fugitives who escaped to Ghana will continue. He says his country is awaiting the issuance of the extradition warrant. But before we bring you that very soundbite of the UK's High Commissioner to Ghana, let's go back to the court and speak to journalist reporter Raymond Dakwa, who's standing by now with a lot more. So, Raymond, tell us much more about what has been transpiring in court.
So, what we know happened right now is two major decisions. First, the court agreed that even though it earlier indicated to prosecution that the very gentleman who is alleged to have killed the Buaka North MP ought to be kept in the very cells of the police and not the BNI, he can now be kept in the BNI cells because it will help the police do its work very well. So that is the main decision that was taken. The other decision was that when the lawyers for the gentleman, Daniel Esiedu, repeated their call for him to be subjected to some form of psychiatric evaluation, this was rejected keenly. This was rejected keenly by the court, again saying that they've not given him enough reasons for him to be convinced that Daniel Esiedu has a problem and needs mental evaluation. So basically, these are the two main things that happened in court today. He's been remanded back to appear on April 5th.
Okay, so we were also told of the extradition issue that was being heard in court today. What came of it?
The issue is yet to be heard, actually.
Okay.
The police is now going to seek a specific date where they have a specific court hear the issue. So he will be presented in court. We are told that they are still working on documentation to bring him to court so that his own issue will be dealt with. But for now, he's not been brought to the court. And the court is still sitting, and we're waiting for the time that the police brings him to the court.
Raymond, many thanks for that update, and that was joining reporter Raymond Dakwa bringing us the very latest from the courts there. Let's now take a listen to the UK's High Commissioner to Ghana, John Benjamin, on the collaboration between the UK and Ghana as far as security is concerned.
We're very, very grateful to the Ghanaian authorities, particularly the Bureau of National Investigations, for their cooperation in the tracking down this person and in arresting him because we rely on their expertise and their cooperation, and we're very, very grateful for it.
It happened with Simpson Kent. This is the second case, and it looks like increasingly people who commit crimes in the UK appear to find their way into this country.
Well, I mean, at the moment, I'm not aware of other cases. Of course, it can happen. The message from this case is that fugitives will be found wherever they run to. What's next is an extradition hearing. We've requested extradition, but that is, of course, is a judicial process that's up to the Ghanaian courts. So We'll see how that progresses, but that's the next step. The process has already started, but obviously, as with any judicial process, it takes time, and we'll see how it plays out. He was taken into detention on Friday morning and will be held under arrest until such a time as the court proceedings begin.
When it comes to things like providing David with legal representation and all of that, I guess the embassy is helping facilitate that?
Well, absolutely, and as in the case of Arthur Simpson Kent, legal defence team will be provided, I'm sure, if necessary.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has condemned the terrorist attacks on Ivory Coast and Turkey, describing the acts as despicable. The extremists vented their anger on the West African and European nations at the Grand Bassam Beach Resort and the Kizila district, respectively, on Sunday. 12 people died in the Ivory Coast attack as 4 gunmen, armed with machine guns and hand grenades, went on rampage. Now, the explosion in Gouverne Park in the Kizila district also wounded at least 125 people. The president expressed the country's deepest condolences and sympathy to President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, their governments, as well as the people. Now, he also wished the injured a speedy recovery in an official statement released on Monday, March 14, 2016. Now, speaking of happenings in Cote d'Ivoire, let's try and get an understanding of the situation and how it is likely to affect Ghana as a country being a neighbor to Cote d'Ivoire. Let's speak now to international relations expert and a senior research fellow with the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, Dr. Vladimir Nchidansu, who joins us now over the phone lines with some thoughts on yesterday's shooting incident in neighboring Cote d'Ivoire. Mr. Vladimir Nchidansu, good morning, good afternoon, and many thanks for your time on News Today. Now,
good afternoon.
For the
let me correct an impression. I'm no longer with the Legon Center for International Affairs.
Okay, right. Many thanks for that correction then, sir. Okay, so for the many who live in Ghana, a situation like this happening in a neighboring country is cause for concern. Should we be at all worried?
We should be. It's not because it has happened only in Cote d'Ivoire, but we should be worried generally about the festering nature of terrorism. So we should be worried, especially so that around us things are happening in Burkina Faso, Mali, and then now Cote d'Ivoire. We should be worried.
This incident is the second in as many weeks or months. Is it a situation that the sub-region is not making a conscious effort at preventing such things from happening?
Absolutely not. That's not the case. I mean, under terrorism, you don't say I'm completely, immune to such kind of attacks. I mean, it depends on what the state is, why the state is being attacked, and for what reason. If you watch out, the Mali attack was because of some kind of revenge on the French intervention. In Burkina Faso, I think it's the same thing. It's because basically they attack places where French nationals are holidaying. And in Cote d'Ivoire, I can suspect it's the same thing. The point is this, that once we have some countries interfering in the affairs of the terrorists, they will use that grounds to attack. And that is why I say we are also not out of the woods, in the sense that we have nationals of countries that are fighting ISIS, fighting Al-Qaeda, and fighting Al-Shabaab and Boko Haram. So we are not immune from such attacks.
Any specific steps the country can take to, if for nothing at all, minimize the risk of us being targeted by some of these terrorist groups?
I've always said that no preparation is good enough. No preparation is sufficient enough to ward off terrorist attacks. But the greatest thing you can do is to minimize the effect. Normally, terrorist situations are post-ante kind of reactions in minimizing the effect. That's number one. In preparation towards avoiding or making sure that the effects are not very devastating, what you do is creating the necessary awareness. I've always maintained that Ghana is so loose when it comes to awareness about security. In fact, would it surprise you that in places like Burma Camp and others, hardened criminals are able to enter Burma Camp and bolt away with things from the officers? That's how I say we lose. Look at our Kosombo. Do we have a garrison there? People can drive all the way to the top of the dam, and if any terrorist wants to drop a bomb there, he would do it. What about Pond Dam? Now it's a thoroughfare. You can drive over the dam, directly over the dam. to the other side of it. We are very loose where security is concerned. And if the terrorists want to strike in Ghana, they can easily strike. That's what we shouldn't fool ourselves into thinking that Ghana is a peaceful country, God loves us, and that kind of thing. Please, we are very loose where security is concerned.
From where you sit as a researcher and all, does it look like Ghana is close to getting itself in such a situation? I'm speaking of an attack, terrorist attack.
Well, you couldn't predict, but if you hazard the horizon, what you can see is this, that the terrorists are targeting tourism. They're targeting elements from those countries they perceive as enemy countries, like France, to be specific, and US, and probably now that the UK is very much involved in ISIS activities in Syria, there is a possibility that they are on their radar. So they aren't going to attack Ghanaians as Ghanaians. They're only going to attack places where they can see these nationals, and it will affect Ghanaians. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Doc, many thanks for your time on news today. And that was Dr. Vladimir Njudanso. He's an international relations expert, bringing us some thoughts on that shooting incident in neighboring Cote d'Ivoire. You're watching news today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We are taking a break. We'll return shortly with some more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying on news today. Let's return to our earlier story where several parts of the capital, we are told, have been submerged in water following more than 6 hours of heavy downpour. My colleague Matilda Fomega has been monitoring the situation in parts of the capital and our reports.
Started somewhere last night and already the drain is getting full. One would want to ask, what will happen if this rain should continue to the rest of the day? What will happen to residents who live very close to the Odo River? What exactly is going to be their fate? Are we going to see another June 3 disaster again? Government has already assured that they are putting measures in place to address flooding, the perennial flooding we see each year when the rains come. But the rains are here again, and we are seeing this again. So we want to find out from residents who live around here whether they are worried of this development. Each and every day we report about flooding. They live very close to the Odo River. What is their current state? They are not yet being affected by the rains. But from what you can see, you can tell that anytime soon, if the rains should continue, these people will be badly affected. Let me speak to them and find out from them what they also think of this development. This is nothing new. This is what they are used to, but they still live here. Let me find out from them what exactly can be done to address the situation. So you have been seeing the floods. You always see it. It's something that is not new to you. What do you think can be done to put this whole flood issue to a rest?
You know, our community, the people that stays with us, some of them have been dumping the refuse in the big gutter and the smallest one around us, and it's very choked. When you go into the town, you see a very choked gutters over there. There's a whole lot that we can do, and one thing that we have been noticing that there are some people that have been easing themselves in the gutter, that the government need to take reaction of that.
But when you see the people dumping refuse and all that, in your own little way, what do you do to address the situation?
You won't see them. You won't see them. They do those things done. And, you know, when you are not, realizing that they're doing, you see that they do it. That is what they have been doing.
Now, what do you think can be done to really put all this issue? Because the floods, whenever it rains, it will still come to your homes.
What I would do, or what I would tell my people to do is they shouldn't dump anything, because even the gutter is already choked with a lot of sand. So they shouldn't dump any refuse in it. They shouldn't ease themselves at all, because whenever the cloud start coming up, we get afraid, because even if it's draining, we get afraid that the river will soon come again. We are not staying here very stable. We are not stable at all. Whenever the rain, starts, we all get our things packed, hung up, because we know definitely there's going to be flood.
So have you started packing already? Because
I did that yesterday, because,
Packing to where?
I hung my things because I know the level that this river has been coming always. And it comes to my shoulders, the level. June 3rd, it was at my level, and I was like, oh, God save Abino. But still, the people have been dumping things inside. They do dump things always. But we have been telling them, we have formed a volunteer team that has been warning them not to ease themselves. You can see from around there and over there, they have been easing themselves in the gutter. That is very bad. We want the assemblyman to just tell them not to do.
Tell me, you live here. You've seen the flood so many times.
Yes, of course.
Are you worried this time around seeing the rains?
Okay, first, thank you for giving me this opportunity to express myself. Up to now, I can tell you I'm very worried because since years we have been living here and we have having these problems for a very long time. But this time around, I can see that there's something is being done because before you have to be free here from the river, they need to deceive the Kole. Because the Odo River moves straight to the Kole. So if the Kole is not deceived, I mean, there's nothing we can do. So since years we are praying that the mayor or governor should come to our aid by deceiving the Kole. If they are able to deceive the Kole and deceive the Odo River, and anytime it rains, you can see that the water can flow freely. I think it will help us a lot. And this time around, I can see that something is being done. So we are hoping that they continue to do it and do it well, so that those of us who are residing here, anytime it rains, we can have our patients and live with our children. Because sometimes anytime it's raining, because we have our grandchildren, our mothers, our sisters, uncles are here. Even we have some tenants around. Anytime it starts dizzying, then we are all afraid because we don't know what is going to happen. So this time around, I think we thank the mayor because we can see it for ourselves. They are putting some machine, they start doing something. They need to do it very quickly so that we can be released of this tension when the time is getting to rainy season.
Okay, so if you know Veno very well, especially those who live around the Odo River, you can tell that this place is an area which is prone to flooding whenever it rains. No matter the hours that it rains, this place will surely get flooded. So we'll continue to other communities as well to find out how this rain, which started somewhere last night, is affecting people and how it's also affecting vehicular movement in town.
And we have received dozens of your messages on our numerous social media platforms. I'm speaking of WhatsApp, Facebook, as well as Twitter. You can do well to send us a lot more. We'll be bringing you them subsequently. But away from that now, and transport operators in the country today embarked on a strike action over insurance premium hikes. Now, the drivers say the move is a result of the failure of the Ministry of Transport and the Insurance Commission to address their concerns. Now, in June 2015, the Ghana Insurance Association proposed an 800% increase in motor insurance premiums, which was reduced to 400% following agitations by some transport unions. But the commercial drivers want a further reduction. Michaela Richter Anderson monitored the situation here in the Greater Accra region and our reports.
Members of the Ghana Commuter Drivers Association say they are embarking on a strike this morning to protest the increases in motor insurance premiums. They say several meetings with the Transport Ministry has yielded no results, and therefore this morning they've decided to boycott work. Here at the Obra Sport, several cars have been parked, but others are loading. They are calling out for passengers. Some of them who have been speaking to me say they've decided to transport only school children.
I am a fast school for me. Now, this is school for the mountain get on fast school for but yeah, metia workers no more catch up man say
because of the rain. There's some we can't leave the passengers to stand in the rain. That's why we are working. So sometimes the car not belong to us. It belongs to our owners. So no, we are not the ones who go to the strike. In my mind, I want the car owners to say we are not, because the insurance, we are not the one who is going to pay. So if I say I'm not going to work, my car owner will give the car to somebody. That's why I come and I will suffer. If my master tells me today, they say the insurance go up, so we should go on strike. My master will not give me the key, so I will not come. But I'll go today, give me the key, I should go work. If I not go, he will give it to somebody.
You know that your colleagues are on strike?
They are not on strike, we are working. Nobody, I don't see anybody say, everybody is working. The reason I'm saying that, if they say the ministers, they are going to strike, they pay them, they mark them. But we drivers, who will pay us? If I no go work, nobody will mark me. I won't get chop money from my picking.
So you are not on strike? Does it mean all of you didn't agree on the strike?
Yes.
You see, I'm defy directive, say strike. An executive here at the GPRTU tells me they don't know these people who call themselves the Ghana Committed Drivers Association.
We are GPRTU, so that committed drivers, they are always expressing their views on the radio, but we don't know them.
You mean you don't know these people who say they are embarking on a strike this morning?
We don't know that. We just heard it from radio. Today's Monday. It is 4 days. We heard that they are making some conference at the Mamda Kong or Brass Sporting side, but we didn't go because they didn't inform us. And they didn't receive any letter that there's a conference heading. So we didn't go. So we don't know. Oh, fact, you don't know them.
They want government to, however, address concerns with the insurance premiums. They are calling for a reduction.
Yeah, they are working. You see them, they are all working. But the insurance we are asking them, sister, I can't say anything because formally we have great. We have 12 passengers, we have 15 passengers, we have 19, we have 23. All of them pay according to how the passengers they are taking. But the Sprinter taking 21 is about 1.9. Now we are paying almost 6 million. So whom are you going to express your view to them? And brother, how is going on? No? I can't say. If I want to continue, I will speak against something.
Michaela Anderson for Joy News.
Well, Public Relations Officer for the Committed Drivers Association, Francis Appiah, says the group will continue with the action tomorrow if they do not receive any favorable response from government on the issue.
I was watching you, and then some of the drivers were saying, committed, we don't know them, and if they don't know, they don't know us. We know ourselves. And this insurance issue that we are saying is not one person is paying. And you can see we went to the meeting with the GPRTU people and other union people. And most of the time, if they want to kill drivers or they want to bring some laws to the drivers, they will go and hide with GPRTU, and GPRTU say, oh yeah, they are to and a whole lot of we accept this laws. If you watch this trotro seatbelt and those issues, GPRTU people were saying it's good. By the time Ghana Committee we stand up, right now as I'm talking to you, you won't see that there's a trotro seatbelt. So they call something like nyabako fonko nana diabrewa. So if you sit it you work, you move your car and work and telling me that they were bringing 300% for that 500% that we are saying we can't pay. So me as a leader, the time we went there, they tell us that they will give you some cards so that we will do it look. I mean, do that thing. I have to fight for my colleagues. Go to Kumasi, go to about my house. You can send your cameras out there at my fishing harbor. You can see people are not working there. And the strike is going on.
So you are saying that the strike is ongoing in some parts of Accra, for instance. You are saying Tema and which other area?
Tema and if you go to Tor and then Kumasi.
So Tema, Pong, Kumasi, those are the three places you are mentioning.
Yes, you can send your cameramen to Kumasi and they will tell you what is going on there. I was receiving some calls at what do you call it?
So is that to suggest that that's where a chunk of your members are based, Tema and Co?
Oh, some of the drivers are they are in the house. Plenty people they are in the house.
Including yourself. You are at home as you speak to us.
Yes, I'm at home. Like I was watching you with your at your studio there. So some of the car owners and things are supporting us, and you can see some of the policemen are on what do you call it, leave, or yes, they are no more on the police again. Some of them have bought trotro and taxi for drivers and the soldiers. They support us, and some of the what do you call it, bankers, they buy trotro work and pay for drivers. We went there and they tell us that they support us. And you can see, like what I'm saying, some of the car owners won't support. Because some of the car owners will get money and buy. And we work and pay. Not one paper that we buy. We buy what you call it, insurance, income tax, roadworthy, and a whole lot of papers. And if the car is used for it, you is going to repair. So if some of the brothers that they think that me the military will be cars for the rest of my life, and I won't buy someone. If the insurance right now they can put 300% for top. If the third party go that 10 million and then if you can really get your you can work to get your car, we shall see.
We are taking a break here on News Today. When we return, John Omako brings you business. And now time to update you on some business developments. And some banks are strategizing to stay in business as the economic situation continues to hit their operations. Societe Generale is, for instance, stepping up efforts to encourage individuals to take more loans by launching a campaign called Unlock Your Dream. The Deputy Managing Director of Societe Generale, Francois Mikal, spoke to Joy Business at the launch.
Well, one of the main needs of our customers is for financing, and that's where we try to bring them, a competitive offer to enjoy enhanced conditions, rates, eligibility conditions, so that they can enjoy the season and plan as well for the year. So that's the cycle. First, we encourage people to save. Then we propose financing solutions at competitive rates and conditions, and then we will propose other services across the year to help them in their banking and financing needs. The rate that is given for this promotion that applies to everyone is 31.5%, which is very, very competitive in the current environment.
And if you're considering taking on debt this year, you may have to think twice. Interest rates are expected to go up for the rest of the year, according to projections by some economic analysts, including Thomas Emmanuel. He expects the central bank to maintain a tight monetary policy this year, which would reduce the demand for money and limit the pace of economic expansion. Here is his forecast for the year.
A relatively stable exchange rate until towards the end of the year, when there will be some depreciation of the cedi. Interest rates will remain high, even though government wants to bring them down. That will not happen. Interest rates will remain high. Inflation will come down until the run-up before the election. It will start coming down probably from middle of second quarter into third quarter. Rates will come down. Towards the end of the year, they will rise again. Okay, especially short-term interest rates because of government's demand for borrowing to fund election-motivated spending, which even though government says it will not do it, inevitably it's going to happen, but only closer to the elections than usually what has happened. Consumer demand will remain depressed because of the efforts of fiscal consolidation, but more importantly, because of monetary policy. You see, no matter what government does concerning opening the spending tax before the elections, Bank of Ghana is not going to be nearly as cooperative as they have been in previous election years. You understand? The reason why is very simple. The Bank of Ghana can now hide behind the IMF, all right, in order to do the right thing rather than pander to the whims of government. All right? So, monetary policy is going to remain tight throughout the year.
Thomas Emmanuel's projection for the year, and that ends business
this afternoon. My name is John Kojo Amwako, but you can join me for more on the marketplace from 1 to 1:30.
Good afternoon, my name is Baba Tanda. Welcome to the sports segment of the news. Now we begin with Ghana's under-17 female team, the Black Maidens, who have taken a giant stride towards qualifying for this year's FIFA under-17 Women's World Cup. Now Coach Evans Adoti's ladies thrashed their Moroccan counterparts by 4-0 in a first leg final qualifier. Now, and what it means is that Ghana is seeking one of 3 slots for Africa for the World Cup that will be taking place in Jordan later this year. So the Black Maidens have a 4-0 advantage, and in a fortnight they will be taking on their Moroccan counterparts to ensure that they finish the assignment to qualify for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup coming up in Jordan later this year. Now that game was actually played over the weekend. Another Ghanaian team was in action and out of Ghana, but this time it was a CAF Interclub competition. Mediama SC and their head coach Tom Strand says the first leg CAF Confederation Cup performance with the Libyan side Al Ittihad Tripoli gives him hope of making it to the next phase of the competition. El Bulki scored the only goal of the match as the Takwa Bay side lost by 1-0. For Tom Strand, his team's performance gives them hope ahead of the return encounter next weekend.
We train. We make ourselves ready for the match. We try to be get the shape intact with. We try to get our rhythm intact. We try to analyze ourselves and the opponent and try to be as good as we can be on the match day. Yeah, that we can come home with a good result and that we can go as far as we can in the tournament. We don't want to fail in the beginning. We want to stay as long as possible and to be able to stay to the money zone or to give the big teams some really good pressure.
Now, talking about coaches, Black Stars head coach Evan Grant is expected to name a squad that will be involved in the doubleheader against Mozambique in the qualifiers to the 2017 Nations Cup. Now, with the resumption of the Ghana Premier League and quality of play being exhibited by players, it is expected that the Ghana manager would have spotted by now 1 or 2 talents who would be included in his list for the impending assignments. Now, head coach of our All-Stars, Enos Adepa, wants some of his boys in the Black Stars setup sometime soon.
Of course, that is the dream of every coach or every player. If you are playing or you have a team, once you play match after match and you don't prepare them for them to go to the high level, then I think work done is zero. It's not all about the league. It's about their future as well. Their welfare is also very, very important. So as we play the league, you have to get a very high dream for them also, yeah, so that they also get there. It will be a plus on the side of the coach, and also you enhance your CV if your players are being moved into the high flanks.
But which players specifically are you expecting to be called up?
Oh, my goalkeeper, for instance, and secondly, my Richard Atta, who is leading who's spearheading the attack, and likewise Maxwell Bakun. I think if he's also is calling up, I think it will be even a motivation for the boy, you see, yeah.
Now, still on that subject, CK Akono was a former captain of the Black Stars and is now head coach of new Premiership entrants, Dreams FC. Asked whether he wants some of his players to be included in the senior national team, CK Akono was of the view that his players are quite young and should be given ample time to mature.
Time will tell. Time will tell. They are doing well, but they are growing. I mean, somebody like Lawson, who was in the first division last season, nobody knows him. You know, so he scored 2 goals last week, and they will have to be careful how we push them forward. And I think gradually they will get there.
All right, now let's come to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And the under fire coach, David Duncan, has said he will not step down from his position as head coach despite a run of poor results that has left Kotoko languishing in the 14th position on the league table with just 2 points after 4 games. Now, a section of Kotoko's supporters are already calling for the head coach, for the head of the head coach. That's for his sack. But the former Ashanti Gold and Heart of Oak coach says he will not walk away so easily.
No, I've never resigned from any job before. I've never resigned from any job before. Maybe you go into the history of the club. If no such thing has happened before, then maybe you might be right to or justified to say, no, this is very much unlike what is expected. But if you go into times and you realize that situations like that have happened before, then it means we can still turn the corner. It was worse. I mean, last season, and like I'm saying, this is not the worst start in Kotoko season. I mean, you are the journalist, so maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. A team like Manchester City in the last 5 games, at a point they lost 3 on the bounce. So these things happen, but difficult to take though, but any team can bounce back from it.
All right, there are more sports headlines on the sports page on myjoyonline.com. My name is Baba Tando. Good afternoon.
My name is Gladys Osei Oredu. You are welcome to the entertainment segment of Joy News today. Let's start off with dancehall artist Miss V, who has embarked on her high school project to encourage girls to take their lessons seriously and also aim to achieving their dreams.
You have to harness whatever kind of talent you have. It helps.
I'll be perfect naturally. Keep your body real, no slim. No shortcut, me one along trick. I'm an African queen, just me. True beauty from within. Keep your body real, no slim. No shortcut, me one along trick. I'm an African queen, just me. True beauty from within.
Oh no, here we go. It's a holiday, school is closed, it's time to party. Hamatan in Ghana, Hamatan in Gambia, it's Hamatan in Niger, it's Hamatan in your country.
I want to find out if there's anything that through this project, even though it's the first, you've found out any revelations from this project.
I found out that a lot of girls want to be who they want to be. There are a lot of girls like me, like the example I gave when I was in secondary school, how I used to try to be like other people. A lot of girls make that mistake. They think being like somebody will make them a better person. But I always say this thing, that if there's one thing you can succeed at and be #1 at, is being yourself. No one can beat you at being yourself. So if you are yourself, things will just start to follow through. Like, because God has made you into a very unique human being, and He wants to see you use your uniqueness to speak to the world. So there are a lot of girls who want to come out and do what they want to, but some of them shy away. Some of them think people will laugh at them because of the kind of things they want to do, or maybe a certain talent they have. So I've seen that girls want to come out and do what they want to do.
Dancehall artist Episode says that Ghanaians hail useless talents over real talents. He was speaking on the heels of the fact that he has not been heard of in a very long time in the industry. Episode says it is because even though he does quality dancehall tracks, Ghanaians just choose to hail the other talents over what is quality. He was speaking on the White Carpet Show on Joy News on Multi TV.
Maybe it's just because you've not heard any banger, that super banger from Episode. That's why you
Why is that?
Ghanaians are not ready. They are not ready to listen to good music.
Are you sure?
Yes, trust me. And I'm just saying Ghanaians are not ready to listen to good music because we respect and hype useless talent over real talent.
Before I go, remember that's the Ghana month we are still observing to be Ghanaians. So remember, everything you do it as a proud Ghanaian. On the 19th of March, we are climbing Mountain Afajato, and trust us, we are taking you there to make sure you have a good time there. So please take note, and we will be filling you in with lots of details as and when we go on.
So that's how we wrap up our news today this afternoon here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. Remember to visit www.myjoyonline.com for a lot more news. John Amako is standing by with the marketplace. My name is Kwabna Chenche Hinibuati. Many thanks for your company.